Hi, a very warm welcome to Dusty Shelf Collectibles. Today, Pleasure Beach Express. Yeah, hi. So I've mentioned so many times on this channel that I have an absolute passion for roller coasters and I love theme parks. And just occasionally, my other passion, which is railways, combines with roller coasters. And Blackpool Pleasure Beach is one of those places. So I was there a couple of weeks ago, and they've got this wonderful railway. It really is superb. Sort of trundles around the park. I've got another video on the site saying the best railway in the world is at Dollywood, and it truly is. You know, full steam and full size locos. But at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, what they've got is miniature locos. They're diesel run, but steam outline. They run on a 21-inch track, and they trundle all the way around the park. The views from it, whether you like theme parks and rides, the history of this place, and just the sheer scale of the roller coasters there and the engineering behind it all. I mean, I sit on this train and go around the park and just marvel at the place. You know, there's everything crisscrosses over each other, and the intricacy in which it's all has sort of matured to what it is now is beyond belief, absolute beyond belief. So I filmed footage going round on the train, which will come up in a little bit, but I just wanted to talk about the railway itself because it's historical in its own right. So the original tracks were put down in 1933, which essentially makes it 90 years old. 10 years time it'll be a 100 years old model railway or miniature railway, which is pretty amazing in itself. So as I say, the original station was built in 1933. There was a fire in 1934 and the whole lot burnt down, and then it was rebuilt again for the 1935 season by a guy called Joseph Emberton, who's quite a preeminent architect. Sadly though, that station was demolished in 1970, and the station that is in the Pleasure Beach now has run since then. Now, I actually love this station. I'm going to put some pictures up now. Look at the intricacy on it. It's it's a Victorian esque canopy over the platforms. It looks, it really sets the scene. It's great. And then at one end of the station, as you look out across, they've got a typical sort of railway bridge over the line. And you see over the background, you can see the small to scale water tower and the signal box. Just marvellous, absolutely marvellous. The other interesting thing about the railway is it used to run in the opposite direction, so what you'll see in the video as we go around, you'll see all the animals facing away from us. That's obviously because when they were put there, the train came in the other direction, so yeah, bit of fun there. So the track has taken various routes around the park over the years. I think the current track, at least 15 years it's been running the current path, and it pretty much goes around the whole of the Pleasure Beach. The sad thing though, up until a couple of years ago, you could enter the park for a nominal fee and ride all day on the train. The park recently has changed its policy, and now you have to buy a ride wristband to enter the park, which makes this railway kind of out of reach now, unless you're going to spend the 40-50 quid, 30-40-50 quid, I don't know what it is, for a wristband. And if you're not interested in riding the rides and you purely want to look at the architecture and ride the railway, sadly it's inaccessible now. Right, let's talk about the engines. I do have a crib sheet here. All of the engines were made at Hudswell in Leeds. Obviously all 21-inch gauge. No live steam at all, as I say, but all with diesel engines, all to 21-inch gauge, obviously. All the three main engines, in fact all of the engines are all in traffic all the time. They rotate the engines round on a basis. The weekend I was there this year, Carol Jean, the smaller of the steam outline locos, was actually in the workshop, and the other two engines were sitting in the station. So let's go from the top then. So Mary Louise is a green outline express loco, a 462. So obviously 4 wheels at the front, 6 in the middle, 2 at the back. I've gone through that many times. Carries for some unknown reason 4472, which is obviously the number that Flying Scotsman carried. And although it's very reminiscent of the Flying Scotsman, it's not, it's not modelled on the Flying Scotsman. So I don't know why that number was selected. Somebody out there probably knows. Anyway, that the other interesting thing about that loco is it is a sister loco to the Scarborough North Bay stock that you see running sort of a tourist, again a 21-inch gauge railway in Scarborough. Second one on the list is Carol Jean, carrying the number 4473. This is one of the smaller locos. As I say, it was in the workshop on the day I was there, but I have got a picture from the previous visits that I've put up. And again, this model can also be found on the Scarborough Railway. Next on the list is the Geoffrey Thompson OBE. So Geoffrey Thompson was the managing director and owner of the Pleasure Beach. He sadly died 2004. So this engine was actually named Princess Royal when it was commissioned. Now the story behind that is it was going to be named Geoffrey Thompson when it was commissioned, and there was a visit from the Princess to the factory, to the Hudsville factory in Leeds, and as a result of that they named the loco after her, and it's been named that all the way through its working life until sadly Geoffrey Thompson died, and they renamed the loco to what it was originally intended to be, which is Geoffrey Thompson OBE. And again, diesel outline. This one's in maroon, and this was the engine parked on the station on the day that I was there. And then finally, Barbie, which is track maintenance diesel. Doesn't run any passenger traffic. I don't think I've ever seen it. It sits in the workshop. As you come back round back into the station, just to the right hand side, you do get a glimpse into the workshops, and occasionally you can sort of see the outline of it, but I don't think I've ever seen it out in daylight. So there you go. I just want to do a little bit of ramble at the beginning of this because it is quite a special railway. It's not just a theme park railway. This thing has got so much history behind it, and as I say, it is probably one of the, you know, from an engineering perspective, the views from it are magnificent. You know, it's not a scenic railway, but anyway, we'll leave that ramble there, and let's go and have a look at the footage from the railway.